The virtues of defending Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the religious obligation and responsibility that we all have to feel, and the responsibility that we have to assume and take on board in defending him salawatullahi wassalamu alayhi, whether it is defending his person, defending his personality, defending his religion, defending his honor, defending his wives, defending his companions. There are virtues concerning that. First thing that we want to mention is that Allah Azza wa Jal, from his names, is that he is Al-Ghani, he's rich, and he's not in need of anyone, because he can do what he wants to do without the help or the assistance of anyone. So there are a number of threats in the Quran that Allah brings to us for the people who, for an example, don't want to practice Islam, or they don't want to establish the tenets of the religion. He said, for an example, in one ayah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu man yartadda minkum an dinihi fasawfa ya'ti Allahu biqawmin yuhibbuhum wa yuhibbunahu adhillatin 'ala al-mu'minin a'izzatin 'ala al-kafirin yujahiduna fi sabilillahi wa la yakhafuna lawmata la'im. O you who believe, if any of you were to apostate and you were to leave your religion, Allah will bring up people who He loves them and they love Allah. They will be gentle towards the believers and they will be tough towards the disbelievers, and they will wage war in the cause of Allah, and they won't be worried or concerned about the criticisms of those who criticize. This ayah goes to show Allah Azza wa Jalla is not in need of us. He can get rid of us and bring people who are going to carry the flag of Al-Islam and the responsibility of Al-Islam. Allah is not in need of Salafi people who are present right now to carry a Salafiyah. Something that the kuffar used to do, the munafiqeen, they used to make al-mannu on Allah and His Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They used to act as if they were doing Allah a favor by giving sadaqah fi sabilillah. You're not giving Allah, you're not doing any favor for Allah. If anything, you're doing a favor unto yourself. So the point here is, Allah Azza wa Jalla is not in need of the people. He said about defending the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, illa tansuruhu faqad nasarahu Allah إذ أخرجه الذين كفروا ثاني اثنين إذ هما في الغار إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله معنا. And remember, if you don't help him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then you should know that Allah helped him when he was one of two people in the cave, him and Abu Bakr. When he said to his companion Abu Bakr, don't be afraid, don't worry, Allah is with us. Allah is with us in His ability to see, Allah is with us in His ability to hear. Allah's special help is with us because we're believers, don't worry about it. So Allah Ta'ala in this ayat is mentioning to the people, it's not in need of you. Where were we at when the Nabi was in the cave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Where were we at? We were something that was written in the Qadr. We hadn't been present on the earth up until that point, and yet Islam came and the nur of Islam hit us by the Qadr of Allah and the permission of Allah, and we didn't do anything about that. So just as we had nothing to do with helping the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to make hijrah, we had nothing to do with Uhud, Badr, we had nothing to do with Fath Mecca, we had nothing to do with his hijrah to Al-Madina and establish Islam in Al-Madina. We had nothing to do with that. Just as we had nothing to do with that, Allah Azza wa Jal will always defend His Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if we do it, it's virtuous. You're practicing your religion and you're taking off of your shoulder a responsibility. And if you don't do it, you don't hurt anybody but Allah. We don't harm anyone but ourselves. We don't harm Allah Azza wa Jal. Man yansurullah, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the ayat, Man yansurullah, in tansurullah yansurkum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum. If you people help Allah, Allah will help you and He will establish your feet firmly. So the point here is, if we do it or we don't do it, the harm comes back to us. Never think for 1 minute that you are in a position, or we're in a position to say, well, I'm in a position, I helped Allah. La. This is something that's going to help you. That's going to help you. As for the virtues of defending him in the religious obligation, at the top of the list, we have to understand that this was something that all of the prophets and all of the messengers were upon. And it had so many ayahs of the Quran mentioning this. Allah Ta'ala mentioned, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ اللَّهُ مِيثَاقَ النَّبِيِّينَ لَمَا آتَيْتَكُم مِّن كِتَابٍ وَحِكْمَةٍ ثُمَّ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَكُمْ لَتُؤْمِنُنَّ بِهِ وَلَتَنْصُرُنَّهُ قال أأقررتم وأخذتم على ذلكم إصري قالوا أقررنا قال فاشهدوا وأنا معكم من الشاهدين. Allah said, remember when Allah Azza wa Jal took a covenant out, a contract out with all of the prophets, all of them. And that covenant was, Allah said to them, after I've given you the book and I gave you your sunnah, your religion, your legislation, after I did that, while you're there living in the earth, if Rasulullah Muhammad comes sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you, Nuh, Ibrahim, Yaqub, Ishaq, all of you prophets, if Muhammad comes while you're there, then you have to believe in him and you have to help him. Do you take this covenant as being binding upon you? All of the prophets and messengers said, we take it as being binding. Allah said, bear witness, and I'm from those who are bearing witness. It's one of the many ayat that go to show that the prophets and the messengers, they all came, they all called to Tawheed, and they all were prepared and ready that if Rasulullah came while they were living, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were going to step back and they were going to believe in him and they were going to support him and the effort that Allah Ta'ala sent him to fulfill. So from the virtues of defending him is, it was something that all of the prophets and all of the messengers, they were ready for. Ayat in the Quran mention that. وَلِيَعْلَمُ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ وَرَسُولُهُ بِالْغَيْبِ, so that Allah will know those people who helped him and who helped and assisted all of his messengers in the unseen. Sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we also see a number of issues showing us the virtues of defending the Nabi. Like, none of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. If one of us were in need of some help or assistance, akramakallah, we would hope that people would assist us. The Prophet more so than anyone else. Allah's Nabi told the people, help your brother whether he is oppressed or whether he is the oppressor. They said, if he's oppressed, we know how to help him, but if he's the oppressor, how should we help him? He says, stop him from doing the oppression. So we have to help our brothers. At the top of the list, we have to help the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam. When they did Draw Muhammad Day and the Muslims went and they stormed the embassies and they burnt the embassies and they burnt the effigies of the President of America, especially in Pakistan. Pakistan, they love to burn the effigies and the flags. And they were in a frenzy. In Turkey, they killed the nun. And in Sudan, they killed people who were with the Red Cross. People who were in Sudan helping Muslims, and they killed the volunteer. Because we're going to defend the Nabi by hook or crook, by any means necessary. I'm going to defend him with weak hadith, fabricated hadith. I love him, so I have to defend him. Allah created the whole earth for the Nabi, created everything for the Nabi. On the Arsh is La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, lawlaka, ma khalaqtul aflaka. If it wasn't for you, Ya Muhammad, we wouldn't have created all of this. La, that's not defending him. I love him, I gotta defend him, hook or crook. Oh, when you hear in the adhan, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, do like this, you'll never go blind, the Prophet had people who were blind. That man who killed that lady was blind. You think if he knew that he wouldn't have done that? How many times he heard the adhan? Right there with the Nabi. So we don't defend the Nabi by hook or crook, by killing innocent people and going crazy, but everybody has a responsibility. They're not exempt. They have to cultivate these shabab from day one. They're coming up in this society. We hold on to our culture and where we come from. There's nothing wrong with that, but they have to have pride. They have to have honor in being people connected to Al-Hadith. Fatima radiallahu anha in Mecca, The Nabi was praying at the Kaaba. Again, inside of the Kaaba there were idols. Inside of the Kaaba there were pictures that Quraysh drew in the Kaaba. The door of the Kaaba had been moved from where it was accessible to everyone, and it was put where only the nobility of Quraysh can get in, and anyone who they allowed to come in. It had been altered. Things were going wrong. And the Nabi was praying there, and he didn't do anything. He was praying there. While he was praying, some of those kuffar of Quraysh were drunk. They were drinking. And they brought some defecation of a camel. New defecation. You know, the poo of the camel. The doo-doo. It was new. Stop being a troublemaker. So that means it's wet. It's not dry. When the Nabi was in sajda, they were having a ball and someone went and put it on his back. Again, Ikhwani, you're not putting any of that on my back. You're not going to do that to me. You're not going to put on my clothes, on my African clothes. You're not going to put that on my clothes, and I'm just going to let you go. But the Nabi was on a higher standard. He was on a higher standard than us. We get upset and we get mad for ourselves. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came out of sajda, the girl came and the companions were sitting there. Abu Bakr was there, Uthman was there, Ali was there, Abdurrahman ibn Auf. These people were ready to lay their lives down for him. They were sitting there. Not a single one of them moved. Not out of fear. They didn't move because that's what he taught them to do at that time. We're in a hostile environment. We don't have the ability. If you move, they're going to kill you and kill your wife and take your children as well and take your property. And they're going to kill you and innocent people from. Just relax. And they just watched. Fatima, the little girl, she came out to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she started wiping off the stuff. And she said to Quraysh, giving da'wah ilallah. She read an ayah to them that Allah Ta'ala mentioned. It was said by the man from Fir'aun who was hiding his iman. He believed in Musa, but he was hiding his iman because he was in a hostile environment. But he couldn't take it anymore. When they wanted to kill Musa, he came out. And he said to the people, and Fatima said the same thing, أَتَقْتُلُونَ رَجُلًا أَن يَقُولْ رَبِّيَ اللَّهِ يَرْحَمَكَ. Do you kill a man? Do you fight a man because he's simply saying, my Lord is Allah? He's praying to Allah. He's not bothering you. He's just praying to the God of the Kaaba. Why are you doing that? So the point is, she defended the Sunnah. The handicap has to defend the Sunnah. The young kids have to defend the Sunnah. The boys. The young girl has to defend the Sunnah. The people, the crazy Muslims today, the crazy Muslims who want to defend Islam by hook or crook. They'll do anything. They'll look at this incident with Fatima and they'll say, Wallahi, if I was there, and they put that on the Nabi, I would have did this, I would have did that. But yeah, you think that you're stronger than Abu Bakr? You think that you loved him more than Uthman and Ali? No, I don't love him more than them, but they were not as brave as I was. No, they were not as ignorant as you are. And that's why they stay there, because they were uqala. The Nabi trained them, take it easy. Now is not the time to deal with these people like that. You have to deal with the situation a different way. So the little girl defended the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Nabi was walking in Mecca, in the streets of Mecca. Some non-Muslim came and grabbed the Nabi in his shirt and started twisting it, and he started choking the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr was a grown man at that time, 53 years old in Mecca when he made hijrah. He was 53. He was about 53, 54. Grown man. He came and he grabbed the man's hands. He pried the man's hands off of the Nabi and he pushed the man back. And he said the same ayah. Do you kill a man because he says, my Lord is Allah? So all of the examples, they go to show that we all have a religious responsibility to do what we have within our capability of doing, but there are some guidelines. There are some guidelines. Again, we don't help the Nabi just like that at any cost. We don't help him at any cost. From the guidelines in helping the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some of what the brother mentioned before me. You have to have the ability to help the Nabi. If you don't have the ability, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم. Fear Allah to the best of your ability. In the beginning of Islam, ikhwani, one of the ways Quraysh used to make money, Quraysh, Kuffar, they used to hustle. They used to make money by selling khamr. They used to make money by highway robbery. They rob you. They would make money by, if they caught you in the desert, they'll grab you and sell you. You become a slave. They take you, your wife, your family, and sell you off. They used to make money in a lot of ways. They used to make money in riba. One of the ways they used to make money, if they had a lot of slave girls, 1, 3, 5, 10, 20, they would send those slave girls out to make prostitution. This man to have so many relationships, down, and they were making money. Islam came and Islam addressed this issue. The Quran addressed this issue. Allah Ta'ala mentioned an incident about this with these slave girls. He said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا تُكْرِهُ فَتَيَاتِكُمْ عَلَى الْبِغَى إِنْ أَرَدْنَا التَّحَصُّنَ لِتَبْتَغُوا عَرَضَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَنْ يُكْرِهُنَّ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ مِنْ بَعْدِ إِكْرَاهِهِنَّ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Do not force and compel the slave girls to commit zina after it's clear they're Muslims and they want to be virtuous. Don't do that. And if any of you men continue to make them do it and you compel them to do it, Allah is Ghafoor Rahim. When the Muslims heard that, they stopped doing it. Just like Khamr. The real Muslims stopped. But the Munafiqeen didn't stop. The leader of the Munafiq, the big troublemaker, he made trouble consistently for Al-Islam and the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Consistently. He was a troublemaker. He said crazy things about the Nabi when they're about to fight. He would say to his friends, oh, look at these people. I've never seen anybody who was so greedy than Muhammad and his companions. I've never seen anybody who was so lazy than Muhammad and his companions. I've never seen anybody when it's time to meet the enemy. They're cowards. The son is sitting there and he heard that. He said, you're lying. I'm going to tell the Nabi on you. He said that about his father. You are lying. I'm going to tell the Nabi. He went and told the Prophet, my father said this and this and this and that. You have to defend the Sunnah against your father. You have to defend the Sunnah against your mother, against your culture. Allah's Nabi said, why you were saying that? They said, we were just passing the time away. We were just joking. You know, when you travel, we were just talking. Allah revealed those ayats. Abillahi wa ayatihi wa rasulihi kuntum tastahzi'un la ta'tadiru faqad laqad kafartum ba'da imanikum. Do you play and joke about Allah, His ayat and His Rasul? Don't give any excuses. You're kuffar. After you believe, you became kuffar. Give us these excuses. The boy told on his father. That man used to make crazy problems. The Nabi would ride on his horse and come to that man's assembly where he was sitting with the other munafiqeen. The man would say to the Nabi, get out of here with your stinky horse. Get out of here. Your horse stink. One of his tribesmen would say to him, the horse of the Nabi smells better than you and your father. Defending the Nabi. But the Nabi told that man who said that, the horse of the Nabi smells better than you and your father. The Nabi said, La tasubbu aba'akum. Don't curse your fathers. Don't curse your fathers. They said, how can a man curse his father, Ya Rasulullah? He said he curses a man's father and then that man curses his father. So when that companion said, the horse smells better than you and your father, now this man is going to say, no, you and your father. So he made the man curse his father. So the point here is, tribesmen, you got to defend the Nabi against them, against your culture, against your people. So those people, they used to force the slave girl to make zina. Allah said in that ayat, if they force her to do it and she does it, Allah is Ghafoor Rahim. Why? The hypocrite, those hypocrites, they would continue to make the girl do it. And if she didn't do it, they would kill her. So she had no one to protect her. So she would go and do it. Because she didn't have the ability to stop. She didn't have the ability. So if Allah is Ghafoor Rahim, to the one who's committing zina because they don't have the ability. What do you think about the one who doesn't have the ability to do something in some aspect of the religion? If you have the ability, when you see the munkar, change it with your hand. Can't change it with your tongue. You can't hate it in your heart. It's the weakest level of iman. The way the people are today, subhanAllah. We see something, we're going to change it by hook or crook. And in trying to remove the thing, we bring a bigger one. In Egypt, a few years ago, there was a famous incident in which some religious people, they didn't like, next to a nice masjid, there was a very lucrative place that was selling DVDs and music and all of that. And they were making a lot of money. These people didn't like it being next to the masjid. So they kept warning them. They went and burnt it down. And the forces knew that the Muslims did it. The practicing people did it. What did they do? That wasn't the way to do it. That wasn't the way to get rid of the problem. They came, the government came, and they built it nicer than it was before. They built it out of marble. And they placed 2 guards over it. And they put people in jail. So you didn't change anything. As a matter of fact, you made it even worse. You made it worse because you didn't do it the right way. You don't have the ability. If you don't have the ability, then slow down. That's in anything in this dunya. You don't have the ability. The man, he was suffering from bawasir. He has serious hemorrhoids. He came to complain to the Nabi, when I pray, these hemorrhoids are killing me. He said, whoever can pray standing up, then let him pray standing up. If you can't, then let him pray sitting down. If you can't, let him pray lying down. You do it the best of your ability. I'm not going to tell you, Abdullah, I'm not going to tell you to just stop working just like that because they don't let you go to Jummah. Just stop working just like that. No, keep working and look for another job and ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to open it up for you. Be careful of going to people who give you these fatwas that are just like that. Some things you just have to stop right away. But there are other things, Allah knows the condition that His servants are in. And the people know their situation better than someone else. You have a house on mortgage, that's a kabira from the kaba'ir. Don't listen to the people who say, keep the house on mortgage. And don't listen to the people who say, get rid of the house on mortgage. Don't do that. You go to a competent, qualified scholar and tell him the details of your issue and you get a clear fatwa. Don't listen to ha'ula'i and don't listen to those people. You'll make a decision that can adversely affect your life unnecessarily. And the people who know are not like the people who don't know. Some people may sit there and say, that guy is saying his riba is halal. That guy is encouraging the people to get a mortgage. I'm encouraging you that. What I'm telling you is, as Allah said in the Quran, Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalata. Allah knew how He made this religion. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. Your Lord was not forgetful. He knew what people were going to be confronted with during these days. Allah knew that. بَلَ الْإِنسَانُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا. The person knows his situation better than anybody else. You're going to come to me and I tell you, yeah, get rid of your house right now. You know your situation. No, you have to take your situation to someone and you explain in detail. This is how I got it. My children like this. I'm working like that. I don't like it, and give them the whole story. And then let a competent, qualified scholar tell you what to do. The other issue of defending the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that we have to defend him. We have to defend him with knowledge. With knowledge. Every ibadah in Islam is predicated upon knowledge. Don't do anything and you don't know what you're doing, because it may be you want to make jihad, but you're making fasad. You want to make islah, you want to rectify a thing, but really instead you're just destroying it. You want to command with al-ma'ruf, but you're commanded with the munkar. You want to stop the thing from happening, you're going to create a bigger problem. The way you're able to do that is having knowledge. Knowledge. Scholars of the past, or the Anbiya of the Quran, the 5 major Rasul. Anybody know the 5 major Rasul? Allah said in the Quran, فَاصْبِرْ كَمَا صَبَرَ أُولَى الْعَزْمِ مِنَ الرُّسُلِ. Be patient like those 5 major messengers. Who are they, my man? The first one is Nuh, the second one Ibrahim, the third one is Musa, the fourth one is Isa, the fifth one is Muhammad. Each one of them, they're the major messengers. Each one of them made hijrah. They left their place of residence because they couldn't establish their religion, because they were in hostile environments, because they had to leave the people. Each one of them. Isa ibn Maryam, when he comes back, he's going to fight the Dajjal. But when Ya'juj and Ma'juj comes, he's not fighting them. He's taking the believers and he's going to go to a mountain, because you can't oppose Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Allah's going to take care of them. He's going to make hijrah, all of them. And in giving dawah, all of them gave dawah with knowledge. Ibrahim told Sarah, his wife, we're about to go in here and this king is a problem. If he knows that a man is married to a woman, he wants his wife. So when we go in there, tell the king, if he asks you, that you're my sister. Don't tell him you're my wife. If you tell him you're my wife, he's going to do something crazy. Today, the young people today, the shabab, that they were confronted with that. He says his wife is going to go. He says his wife, we're going to go in this man. You better tell him you're my wife. You better tell him, because we're going to die. Fi sabilillah. Allah doesn't want that from you. Allah doesn't want from our Palestinian brothers and sisters to take a kitchen knife and to stab tanks. Allah doesn't want that from us. He doesn't want the shabab of the Muslims picking up rocks and throwing rocks at tanks. Allah doesn't want that. Nah. Allah is able to do anything. He can cause that rock to destroy the tank. Dawood, he slew Goliath. The story in the Bible, we threw a slingshot. Our religion doesn't tell us what happened, but Allah established وَقَتَلَ دَاوُودَ طَالُوتَ. He killed him he killed him. So you may not have a lot of imkaniyat. Allah is the one who's behind it. As he told the Nabi, وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. When the Nabi threw the sand before the war of Badr, Allah said, you didn't throw. It was Allah who threw. Allah caused all of them to be hit with that one handful of dirt. But does Allah want us to go before the tank and to stop the tank? No, you don't have the ability. So, not having the ability, you don't have to do anything. The Nabi was praying in Mecca, and those idols were up there. He kept praying, and the idols were there. In Milton Keynes, in Northampton, they have a Somali community, Swahili community, Tanzania, Kenyan community. You go there, they're using a church for Jummah. That's their situation for right now. You go in there, they have to put blankets over the statues. Someone comes, he doesn't have any knowledge. We shouldn't make Jummah. We should make Jummah outside in the rain and the cold. So we should. Yeah, the Nabi was praying in Mecca, and there were idols all over the place. That was his condition. And then when he came back and he conquered Mecca and he had power, he just brought this stick, the little stick, and he knocked those idols down. And he washed off those pictures when he had the ability. But before that, no, he had knowledge. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So knowledge is before everything in the deen of Allah. Every form of ibadah is predicated upon knowledge. Don't worship Allah without knowledge. Don't put your foot down without knowledge. If you don't know, then don't do it until you know. That what you doubt, leave it for what you don't doubt. Have knowledge about the religion. That doesn't mean you have to give the khutbah. Doesn't mean you have to learn all of the Quran. Doesn't mean that you have to be the most knowledgeable person in the world. It just simply means if you don't know, don't do it. Can I pray behind that imam? He does the tamima. He does the ta'weed. He does it. He makes ta'weed. And that's shirk. The Nabi said that's shirk. I'm just going to stop praying behind it. No, if you don't know, then you ask someone and get the proofs of why you do it or why you don't do it. Number 3 from the conditions, Ikhwani, in dealing with these situations, defending the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is that we have to be fair and we have to be just. How many young Muslims do we know who are on the internet and they're writing against the Shiite and debating with Shiite? They're debating the Bible thumpers from the Christians, and they say bad things about the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam because they say bad things about the Nabi. Are we going to say bad things about Isa ibn Maryam? They said something negative about the companions. Something happened. We're going to say something negative about the Ansar of Allah who were with Isa ibn Maryam because they did it to us. We do it back to them. It's not our religion. It's not our religion. Our religion tells us you have to be fair and you have to be just. You have to be fair with the one who you love, your friend, and you have to be fair and just with the one who is your enemy. It's easy to be fair and just with your child and your friend. It's not easy to be fair and just. And as-Salafiyya is fairness and justice. The ghulat, the brothers who go overboard in Salafiyya, they're not fair and just. Whatever they criticize this one for, that one for, whatever it is, you can find them doing the same thing, or one of the sheikhs who they raise up doing the same thing. He cursed the companions. He said something inappropriate about the companions. They write you off. His sheikh said something inappropriate about the companions. So is that only he's the bad guy? No, he didn't mean it and he didn't mean it. So the Nabi said, ثَلَاثَةٌ مُنْجِيَاتٌ وَثَلَاثَةٌ مُهْلِكَاتٌ. 3 things will save you and 3 things will destroy you. The very first thing he said that will save you, الْعَدْلُ فِي الرَّضَى وَالْغَضَبِ. Being fair and just when you're happy and when you're angry. Being fair and just for your opponent and for your friend. For friend and foe. Family, non-family. لا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. Don't allow a people's oppression towards you to be oppressive, but be just. That's closer to taqwa. They killed our innocence. We're going to kill their innocence. That's our religion. We mentioned an ayat earlier today. وَإِنْ عَاقَبْتُمْ فَآقِبُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا أُوقِبْتُمْ بِهِ. If you people are oppressed, if you people are harmed, if they do something to you, then do back to them what they did to you. You know, there are some Muslims right now today using ayat of the Quran to show how you can kill innocent people. They killed our innocents in Iraq. They killed our innocents in Kashmir. They killed our innocents in Afghanistan and so forth and so on. So we're going to blow up the plane. So we're going to do this. They stole our resources and our money. So we're going to rob the bank. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. How? Why? Because Allah said, if they harm you, harm them back with the same way they harmed you. So does that mean if those American soldiers on the YouTube, there was some Afghanis that they killed with a drone missile, a number of Afghanis. The American soldiers came and put their bodies there and urinated on the dead bodies. So on the YouTube, they urinated on them, desecrated the dead bodies. In Islam, you can't do that to a dead body. Even with your enemy. He's dead. You can't cut his nose off. You can't mutilate him. Can you use this ayah and say they did it to us, we're going to do it to them? No. In Iraq, the Marines, they took the little girl, 14-year-old virgin girl on the day of their Eid. All 4 of them raped the little girl. 4 of them raped the little girl. Got brought up on charges in America and they let them go. They said the war made them do this and they didn't do anything to them. Gave them honorable discharges. Is the Muslim going to come now and say they raped this lady? So now the ayah said if they do something to you, do it similar. The ayah said we can go and rape someone. No one in his right mind thinks like that. No one in his right mind. People who lost their mind, they think like that. People who go overboard. They've been overwhelmed with hatred and anger and overtaken by emotions and not by knowledge. Knowledge is not what is the navigating force for them. It's emotions. Emotions. The meaning, if they harm you, harm them back. If they fight you in the sacred precincts of Mecca, fight them back. If they fight you in the sacred months, like now we're in Rajab, the Muslims will not fight in Rajab. But if they fought you in Rajab, fight them back. يَسْأَلُونَكَ أَنَا الشَّهْرَ الْحَرَامِ قِتَالًا فِيهِ قُلْ قِتَالٌ فِيهِ كَبِيرٌ. That's the meaning of the ayah. It doesn't mean to do anything. So we have to be fair and we have to be just. أَدِّ الْأَمَانَ إِلَى مَنِ ائْتَمَنَكَ وَلَا تَخُنْ مَنْ خَانَكَ. Give the trust back to the one who left something with you, and don't betray the one who betrayed you. 2 wrongs don't make a right. The Nabi made hijrah to Mecca, to Medina, and he had the property of all of those kuffar of Quraysh. They left him their property with him. He didn't justify and just take everyone's property, and he went to Medina. And then he justified it and said, they did this, they did that, they kicked us out, the Muslims need the money, I'm going to use it. He didn't do that. He said to Ali ibn Abi Talib, give everybody back what they gave to me. Now the people were not in a position to say, Muhammad stole our money. They were not in that position. Some Muslims, new Muslims, Ikhwani, they actually think that they're being trained by some of these brothers who are on these political groups, Hizb ut-Tahrir, these kind of people. He actually thinks that he's making jihad against the kuffar and everything. Like in his job, he steals the tissue. Just to harm the kuffar, he steals the tissue. Any and everything he can do. The toilet paper in the toilet, he steals it. And he really believes he's weakening the position of the kuffar. He leaves the lights on. Just leave the lights on. And he believes he's weakening their position. What kind of tarbiyah is that? What is that? It's funny, right? It's funny. It's funny that it's sad, make you cry. Also, Ikhwani, from the rules and regulations of defending our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that we have to have rahmah in defending him. The general rule is taking it easy with people. The Prophet was with sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha, and those Jews came by and they said, may you die, ya Muhammad. As-samu alaykum. As-samu alaykum. Yuharrifuna al-kalima an mawadi'ihi. As-samu alaykum. They were playing with the words and twisting them. Instead of saying as-salamu alaykum, they said as-samu alaykum. May you die, may you be poisoned. When Aisha heard that, she was upset. She said, may poison and death be to you, you descendants of pigs and apes. She was defending the sunnah. She was defending her husband. No one's going to talk about my husband in front of my face or behind my back like that. And this is the sunnah as well. She said in an aggressive way. She was angry. May death be upon you, you descendants of pigs and apes. That's what Allah said in the Quran. But Allah also said in the Quran, لا تسبوا الذين يدعون من دون الله فيسبوا الله عدوا وبغير علم. Don't curse the gods of those who call on other than Allah, and you'll cause them to turn around and curse Allah. Their false gods and deities deserve to be cursed. They deserve it. But if you curse them, you're going to make them curse Allah. So don't do it. So when she said that to them, the Prophet heard them say, Assalamu alaikum. He said, Wa alaikum. She said, and to you be this, that. Then the Nabi said, hey, Aisha, take it easy. She said, didn't you hear what they say, Ya Rasulullah? He said, I heard. Didn't you hear what I said to them? I said to them, whatever you said to me, back unto you. And my dua is accepted. Their dua is not accepted. And then he taught us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna Allah yuhibbu rifq fil amri kullihi. Allah loves that you take it easy and you're gentle in all of the affairs. He loves that you take it easy and gentle. In defending the Nabi, Allah loves that you take it easy. He said Allah loves that you take it easy in all of the affairs. And another variation of that hadith, he told the people sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا يكن اللين في شيء إلا زانه ولا ينزع من شيء إلا شانه. Softness was never put inside of something general. It was never put inside of something except it beautified it. And it was never taken out of something except it made it ugly. So if you bring softness in the house, it beautifies it. You take it out of the house is going to be a problem. Put softness in front of it in the heart, beautify it. Take it out, it's going to make it ugly. You put softness in your way of refuting and answering. If you put softness, it beautifies it. You take it out, it make it ugly. In defending the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you put softness in there, it'll beautify it. Sometimes though, you have to be rough and tough with people. So the point is, in dealing with these issues, defending the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are dawabit, there are guidelines, there are rules and regulations. If they're not followed, then it's going to be a problem. Last thing that we want to mention, and we leave you brothers with this final parting word is, in defending the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there are a group of people that is from the awjab al-wajibat alayhim. It's fardu ayn on them. Defending the Nabi is fardu ayn upon the ulama and the students of knowledge, the talabatul ilm. It may not be on you as such, because all you can do is make dua. You don't know. I don't know. So don't always feel responsible that you have to do something. People ask questions. All of these questions, they come up. These and some other ones. Someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer. Why feel small? You're not the only one here who doesn't know the answer. Why do we feel like I have to say something? I have to get it. I'm obligated to say something. I'm not obligated. So you don't know. Someone's going to look at you as being ignorant. Okay, no problem. I am ignorant about that, but I'm not by myself. I'm not the only one. There are other people ignorant about this issue. So what's the problem? So you may not necessarily be the person for the job. When it comes to these types of sensitive issues, let the people who have knowledge take responsibility for it. That's what Allah commanded us to do. That's what the Nabi commanded us to do. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ أَوْ الْخَوْفِ أَذَاعُوا بِهِ يعني المنافقين. إِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ وَالْخَوْفِ أذاعوا به تكلموا به ونشروا على أذهان الناس. If those munafiq, something happens, they just talk about it. They just got their opinion. They get involved. What's your opinion? They start talking. And it could be something that shouldn't be talked about. It could be something that is going to hurt the community. So don't talk about it. You're going to make a big problem. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in that same ayat, if they would have just referred it back to the messenger and those who have been given knowledge, then they would have made the best interpretation of it. وَلَرَدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ وَإِلَى أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُ وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ لَاتَّبَعْتُمُ الشَّيْطَانَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. These types of issues and defending the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, these are political issues that these people are manipulating, trying to make Islam appear to the general public at large as a religion that they don't want anything, they shouldn't want anything to do with it. We can't justify those fears and those misconceptions that they're having by getting involved in a realm that is not for us. It's a realm that's not for all of us. It's for certain individuals. So don't feel any sense of ihana. You're not down. Don't feel any sense of istisghar. You're not insignificant when you just say, look, I'm going to subtract myself from the equation. And Allah, my Lord, is A'la and A'lam. We're going to stop here, inshallah ta'ala.
Verses in the Quran, they give us واجب علينا واقتلوهم حيث ثقفتموهم واخرجوكم من حيث اخرجوكم او كمثل فمن اعتدى عليكم فاعتدوا these believers, they do something to you and your country. So will you just say, I'm content Allah will do something, or is it كما الحديث من رأى منكرا فليغير بيده فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه. There is a categories of stages that we can do things. So when we see anything, evil crime they are doing for us, is it that we deal to them, or is it we be silent?
Now, the brother wants to know, there are a number of ayat in the Quran, like the one that we mentioned, a lot of ayat that people, they take them out of context. He mentioned the ayat that Allah Ta'ala mentioned, kill them as they kill you and expel them the same way they expel you. Oppress them the way they oppressed you. He mentioned that ayah. Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, فَقْتُلُ الْمُشْرِكِينَ حَيْثُ وَجَدْتَمُوهُم. Kill the mushrikeen wherever you find them. That's a general ayah in the Quran. Kill them wherever you find them. So when we go out of this masjid over there by the burgers, right over there, we see the non-Muslim walking, just kill them because the ayah said kill them. So is this the way we understand these ayah? Of course not. It's not the way we understand the ayah. We just gave the talk showing how when the Nabi was in Medina and Mecca sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he prayed at the Kaaba and they grabbed him and they did different things and he didn't do any of that. And when he was in Medina, things happened. The Jewish lady gave the Prophet some meat, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that had poison in it. He ate it and some of his companions ate it. When he swallowed it, he realized it was poison. So he said, hey, don't eat it, stop. But by that time it was too late. 14 of them died. They fell dead, poisoned. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he knew the ilm al-ghayb, if he was hazir nazir, he would have told those companions, don't eat it, it's poison. Only after he ate it did he realize it's poison, because revelation didn't come to him at that time, before that time. And even when he died, when he was about to die, he said, Aisha, I still feel the poison from the Jewish lady. Now, the companion who was blind, the slave girl kept cursing the Nabi, and he split her head, and the Nabi said it's permissible for her blood to shed. This Jewish lady tried to kill the Nabi physically. She tried to poison him. The Prophet didn't kill that lady. He let that lady go. Why did he let that lady go? He let that lady go because he weighed the situation. Shaykh Al-Islam Taymiyyah wrote a book. It's called As-Salam al-Maslul ala Shatim al-Rasul, the unsheathed sword against the one who curses the Nabi, in which he deals in the chapter of the people who the Nabi let him go and they deserve to get killed, like Dhul Khuwaisira, who grabbed him, and the Nabi, he said, no, I'm not going to kill him. You want the people to say I kill my companions? So the point here is, all of those ayat, they have a background to them, they have a backdrop to them, and we have to understand them from the prism and through the prism of the context of that backdrop, not just the mere words like that. Kill the mushrikeen wherever you find them. No, you can't do that. Kill the mushrikeen if it's in the sacred months of Mecca. Kill the mushrikeen if they're fighting you. Kill the mushrikeen if they're fighting you in the sacred months. Kill the mushrikeen if they're fighting you and you have the ability to fight them back. Kill the mushrikeen. If you don't have the ability to fight them back, no, you should fight. You should preserve yourself. Keep yourself alive to fight another day when you could come back and the tables are turned. These ayat in the hadith, ikhwani, especially these ayats in hadith, they go to show the need that we have as Muslims to understand the Quran and the Sunnah the way the companions understood the Quran and the Sunnah. We have to ask ourselves, did they take these ayat and do these things? The answer is no. Then it's not permissible for you to understand them like that. Either way, yes or no. There's an ayat in the Quran. وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى تَهْلُكَ. Don't destroy yourselves with your own hands. When you read that ayat, it has many meanings. Don't destroy yourselves with your... Someone smokes cigarettes, you can read this ayat to him. Someone drives a car recklessly without a seatbelt and he's just young, you can use this ayat. Someone wants to commit suicide, you can use this ayat. But look how the companions understood the ayat. They were having a war with these people. And one of the people from the side of the Muslims, he wanted to go to Jannah. So he just ran into the kuffar with his thing and they cut him up and they killed him because he wanted to go to Jannah. No one told him to do that. He just left and ran. When he did that, some of the tabi'een said, the ayat, he killed himself, and Allah said, don't throw yourself to destruction with your own hands. The companion of the Nabi, Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, he said, that ayat was not revealed for that. Don't use that ayat in that way. He said, this ayat was revealed because we didn't have any money. It was revealed on us, the Ansar. We didn't have any money. And when we didn't have money, we made a lot of efforts. We made jihad. We took from the little that we had and we spent it and we just spread the religion. And then when Islam started becoming powerful and reigning supreme and Allah gave us money, there were some people who relaxed. And they stopped giving as much. And they stopped, started relaxing. So Allah revealed this ayah to say, don't destroy yourselves with your own hands by not giving sadaqah, by not making jihad. So he said, don't understand that ayah in that way. And that goes to show again, understanding the ayat of the Quran the way the companions understood. فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ. Marry from the women 2 or 3 or 4. Someone comes now and say, Allah said I can marry 2, and then he add or 3 or 4, so I can marry up to 9 women. 9, because he added all of the numbers up. Did the companions understand that ayat like that? So you can't understand it. So Akhi Kareem, for our young brothers, all of those ayats, kill them and put them out where they put you out. And it's talking about something in a context. In the sacred months, in the sacred precincts of Mecca. If they fight you and you have a contract with them and they break the contract, then you fight them and so forth. It doesn't mean what these people are saying it means.